What is up, you guys? Welcome back to another episode of Just an Air podcast. First and foremost, I want to start by saying if you're watching this on YouTube, I'm doing a different camera angle and I'm a little bit nervous about this. I don't know how it's going to work out, but I've been told by my managers that you guys need to see my mouth move and the microphone's in the way. So I'm dropping back the lens a little bit and then lowering the microphone. So hopefully everything goes well. It's just we're a one-man team over here, okay? We're in my secondary bedroom in my house. It's a podcast studio, glam room, closet situation. So we're working with what we got. Anyways, this week I am so excited to catch up with you on my New York Fashion Week experience. I went for the first time ever after doing content for 4 years. So we have a lot to chat about in regards to that. But then also later in the episode, I want to touch base on birth control. I've been getting a lot of DMs lately because I know it's been circulating in my social media pages that I talk about getting off birth control. And I just want to talk about my experience with getting off birth control. I'm not here to educate you. I'm just here to share my experience, what's worked with for me, what hasn't worked for me. So take this episode as you will. And please, talk to, people that are higher up out there that have their degrees and know what they're talking about. I'm literally just sharing my experience. So put that disclaimer out there before you get into this episode. But yeah, without further ado, let's get into things. Housekeeping. Follow the Justin Era podcast on Instagram. I know I said last week I was going to do a giveaway. I got ahead of myself. I had my brothers in town and then I went straight to Fashion Week. So I did not have time to, organize that giveaway. I will do it this week. The only issue with that giveaway is, like I said, you got to be living in Austin. So I got to make time to give that giveaway away. Maybe I can have my manager here in town give it to you guys. I don't know. We're going to figure it out. Anyways, and then weekly era this week is I am really, really reflecting on my trip in New York for New York Fashion Week. And I'm just realizing I want to post more makeup and fashion. I have been a girl that has completely transformed her outer appearance over the last 4 years. If you've been following along, I never wore makeup. I never wore pink. I was always wearing my Jordans. I never would wear heels. So now that I'm in a place where I truly enjoy it, fashion to me is so fun. It brings out my feminine side. I love it and I want to share more of it with you guys. So hopefully you guys enjoy me sharing more of that. And if you do see me posting more makeup stuff, please support it, comment on it, like it, the dealy. I want to start to work with more brands and I don't want to put myself in such a little bubble of fitness and wellness. I want to branch out. I feel like, as a content creator and being in this world, the beauty industry has a lot of money to play around with. And going to be completely transparent with you guys, I want to dabble in that. So it was just really cool because I went with my management over to New York and a lot of the girls are in the fashion industry. And then I had a one-on-one with my manager and she was like, Sam, put more content like that out there because you just never know what brands will want to work with you one day. And I just never thought I'd be sitting here saying that I want to, work with makeup brands and all that. But, you know, things happen, people change, I evolve, and so is my content. And I don't want to be stuck in a bubble, especially anyone starting out content. Don't go straight hard into a niche because you're going to get real burnt out. And I think that's why I've been kind of thriving with content lately is I'm not in a bubble and I'm just kind of posting whatever and my content's doing great and I enjoy doing content, which is so important. So, yeah, if you see a lot more fashion makeup content coming, just know that I was really inspired from New York Fashion Week. And then my purchases of this week was upgrading my seat to JetBlue. Um, you guys, when I flew um to New York on Thursday, I woke up so sick. I was supposed to go work out with my friend Lauren. We were gonna go to Barry's together, and I realized that night I was feeling really sick. I was like, fuck. I know my brother when he was in town, he was sick. So I'm like, did he just give something to me? Because that will really suck. Knowing my luck with everything that's been going on, the last few months, I have been just down in the digger. So I was like, catching myself thinking negatively about it. I was like, fuck, am I gonna have to cancel my trip? I'm so sick right now. I was so congested. My ears were clogged. And so I had to text Lauren the night before. I was like, girl, I cannot come. And then I was like, you know what? Let's treat ourselves. Let's upgrade our seat in JetBlue because I'm feeling crappy. I'm fatigued and I just really want to get to New York and enjoy my weekend. So I upgraded myself. It was well worth it. I've never upgraded my seat to first class in my life. Not gonna lie, didn't really you know, enjoy it as you would want. I was asleep the entire time. But it was definitely much needed and I'm happy I did that. So that way I could get extra hours of sleep, really rest up and enjoy my week in New York. So anyways, you guys know I do my weekly rants in my shows and talking about shows, but I am realizing after being in New York, and maybe I'm just in my head, but the chit chatting about the reality shows, you guys, I pretty much bumped into every single reality star you could imagine. So being in that space, I was like, "Oh my god, I really hope they just don't see my content and me, like, gossiping about Love Island or gossiping about The Bachelor." So I was like, "You know what, Sam? I think we need to tone it down with that because they're all so sweet, don't get me wrong, and I've never said bad things about any of them. I've only ever said bad things maybe about, like, the boys on the Love Island cast and how they treat the women, but, it just felt wrong of me standing with them and, like, introducing myself and saying hi and just being like, "Whoa." I do, like, a little segment on my podcast, like, chit-chatting about Love Island, and you're just right in front of me. So, it just felt weird. I think I'm gonna stop, honestly, and gear more to, talking about my weekend recaps and then getting more guests on and just chit-chatting that way. So yeah, we're gonna do that. Anyways, I will say I'm never probably ever gonna run into, like, the Selling Sunset cast. I've been watching Selling Sunset, and hands down, one of my favorite shows. So good. I love just the amount of drama, and then Joey Essex being in this newest season. I'm like, "That man literally will do anything in his possible power to be on every single reality show possible." It's crazy. So if you're watching Selling Sunset, definitely get yourself into the new season. It was really good. I'm not done with it. Don't get it wrong. I didn't watch TV, like, all week because I was traveling, but yesterday and this morning, I watched a little bit of it. So, anyways, weekend recap. We got a lot to talk about. I feel like my week has been go, go, go. The last 2 weeks, I have been eating out every single day. And would one say she feels like crap? No. I mean, yes, but I don't. I truly don't. I've been eating pretty good eating out, but my wallet fucking hates me, okay? So, you guys know my brothers were in town, but then they went home on Monday. Tuesday rolls around and I went to dinner with my friend Ellie. We've been doing date nights each week because our weekends have just not been overlapping. We haven't been able to see each other. So that sucks. And I got food, got some drinks, and it was an amazing time. But every time we hang out, it's raining. So I'm like, I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. I'm not super into like the whole, like, what's the word for it? Mm, Not like theories, but like, when people say, "Oh, if it rains on your wedding day, it's like good luck." Like those types of theories. I'm not good on those. I don't know what it means, but every time I hang out with her, it's raining. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but me and her being delusional, we're sitting at dinner, we're like, every time we hang out, it's raining. So let's just go with the fact that that means we're going to be fucking best friends. So that was funny. And then on Wednesday, I had to meet with my podcast management, which, hello, they're probably listening to this right now. Just Media signed on with them 3 months ago when I started this podcast. And they're actually based out of Austin. And we had our first dinner because a majority of the team has now moved here, which is really cool. And we're going to start doing coffee dates, work days, all together, which I really, really need because I have been struggling mentally, rotting away in this home all day, every day working by myself. I do a really good job at getting out of the house and like going to the gym with friends, going to run clubs and all that. But like sitting on my computer and just getting work done, like I just need somebody to sit with. So I'm really happy about that. I need like social encounters during the day, not just at the end of the day. And so we went to dinner. We went to Uchi, which is downtown. It's a sushi restaurant. We got a lot of, pics around the table, but it was just good to chit chat with these girls because they've been in the industry way longer than me. I'm talking about the both the hosts of the Mean Girls podcast, Alex and Jordan. And I just feel like on social media, I have been fucking going through it, okay? Not only with the hate that I've been getting and then other creators making videos about me. We had, actually two Austin-based creators make videos about me. One saying that my podcast has no content to it and that blah, 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 blah. If you want to go find the video on my TikTok, I stitched her, so you can go find it. And then another big creator that didn't like my take on um, Ozempic and liposuction. So, anyways, with all of that, I've been just getting hit left and right with just lots of hate on the internet. And one thing that I really, really struggle with, and we can go back 3 years on this, is when I got canceled on the internet. People were making all these narratives about me, and I'm someone, and I don't know if this is something that other people, sorry, mouth is dry. I don't know if this is something that other people go through, but when there's a whole narrative and people are saying things about you and you know deep down inside that's not who you are, but people create this narrative of who you are, you start to believe it. And so when I got canceled back way back, oh my God, way back when, about 3 years ago, I literally had to go to fucking therapy because I was convinced that like the people on the internet that were saying I was a certain someone, I started to believe it, even though deep down inside I knew my family and my close friends knew those were not factual things about me. But when you start to hear hundreds and thousands of people say things about you, you start to believe it. You're like, wait, you second guess yourself. You're like, wait, am I actually this person that these people are claiming me to be? And you start to believe it. And then I realized going to therapy that I let other people's opinions about me get to me when I'm in like a low like that. And so when that happened on the internet, it took me a while to kind of like change gears of like, okay, that's not the person I am. This world is so big. The social media scene is really small. Obviously there's um like the Reddit scene, whatever. I don't go on there. I don't care to go on there. And that's it. That's that. But recently, now I'm realizing I am falling into that same cycle again of the negative comments and people making videos about me, and I'm kind of allowing these people to create a narrative about me and allow myself to believe it, even though I know deep down it's not true. And then I start to act that way because my brain is trying to convince myself that that's true when I know it's not. I hope that makes sense to you guys. And I wish I could compare it more to the sense of just like the real world, but like I'm just, it's hard when you have like a social media presence and people say things about you and then you start to believe it even though you know it's not true. So I'm just really in a tough place with that right now and I'm trying to get out of it. And so one step that I've taken is kind of taking a step back from my podcast Instagram. I am looking to maybe hire someone to post the reels for me and handle all of the interactions on there because that is a space that is just not safe for my mental health right now and I want to get away from it. Um I just feel like that's where all of it's coming from is the podcast Instagram. That Austin, Texas creator that made a video was talking about one of my podcast clips and whatever. So like I just think I need to hire someone for my own mental sanity. I know I can do things on my own. I'm a hard worker and I have the time on my hands to do things, but you know what? Mental health comes first and I am probably going to be taking a step back from the podcast Instagram. Um the great thing is that, I don't get a hell lot hate on my other platforms. And if I do, block them, get rid of them, whatever. But holy shit, the podcast, I can't. So yeah, that's what I've been struggling with is, dealing with people creating narratives about me and falling into believing it and then acting that way. And I'm like, Sam, you are not that person. So let's get out of that and stop letting people's opinions judge you. So I don't even know where the fuck I was just talking. Oh, yeah, the podcast. So it was just nice talking to them at dinner, just saying, like, hey, I've been getting a lot of hate. And then, like, they were reassuring me that it's not a big deal, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, I feel a little bit better about this. And it also feels nice when, like, they also said they were like, oh, I didn't even know that video was about you. Like, oh, crazy. I'm like, okay, so I'm just like in my head. I'm in my head. Anyways. What is up, you guys? I want to interrupt the episode real quickly to talk to you about HelloFresh. With HelloFresh, you get farm fresh, pre portioned ingredients and seasonal recipes delivered right to your front door. Skip trips to the grocery store and count on HelloFresh to make home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. That's why it's America's #1 meal kit. Life can get crazy, and you guys know that. I have been traveling, I've had people in town, I have been just go, go, go. I used HelloFresh last week right before my trip to New York City, knowing that I was going to get everything pre portioned directly to my house and I was not going to let anything go to waste. There are always new flavors to explore with an ever changing menu of 50 recipes to choose from every week. Just pick your meals and your delivery date. It's just that simple. I wouldn't say that I'm a picky eater, but I love taking advantage of their easily customizable menu that they have with choosing and swapping out proteins or vegetables. I even got some of their breakfast options. I loved their spinach and egg bites. They were so good. And needless to say, I think probably one of the easiest options that you can pick from. All you needed to do is just put it in the microwave for a few minutes and enjoy. For free breakfast for life, go to hellofresh.com/free era, which is one free breakfast item per box while subscription is active. That's free breakfast for life just by going to hellofresh.com/free era. And like I mentioned last week, I gotten away a few times with not even telling my boyfriend that the meal we had was from HelloFresh. I don't like to say that I've gotten lazy, but I will say I've been just much busier than usual. So going to the grocery store has been hard. And so HelloFresh has just made my life that much easier by getting everything I need delivered right to my front door. And so, whether you love breakfast, lunch, or dinner, they have it all. So, for free breakfast for life, go to hellofresh.com/free era. One free breakfast item per box while subscription is active. That's free breakfast for life just by going to hellofresh.com/free era. Thursday, flew into JFK. I did not realize there's a billion airports in New York City. News to me, there's like three of them. So I flew into the farthest one from actually New York City, JFK, the biggest shit show of an airport I've ever seen in my life. Flew into Terminal 5, had to go all the way to Terminal 7 to get picked up by an Uber. Madness. And at this point, my flight was like 4 hours. So I'm like, I want to just get home. And I did not even go to the bathroom before hopping in that Uber. I was like, "Damn, Sam, you really fucked up. You did not think that one through, you guys." I thought it would be a quick ride because it said on the maps 15 miles away. It took me an hour and a half to get from JFK Airport to the Midtown New York City area. Holy shit. That Uber ride, I first and foremost, every Uber I took, no one was playing music, no one had earbuds in, no one was on phone calls. It was just awkward silence the whole time. So imagine that for an hour and a half straight. I was losing my mind and I was holding my pee. I'm somebody like if I have to pee, I'm gonna hold it. Like I'm gonna hold my bottoms down there and like cup myself and like hold it because I think that helps. Like I will hold my pee in longer if I'm like cupping myself. It's embarrassing, I know, especially when I need to do it in a public setting, and then I get to the hotel, and I'm checking in, and I'm still cupping myself, holding myself, like, twisting my legs, like, "Fuck, I have to pee so bad." Luckily, the check-in process took, like, 20 seconds, and I get into my room and immediately go to the bathroom. I had 1 hour to get ready for my management dinner. I got in, which I was supposed to get in around, like, 6:30. Got in around 7:30. Dinner was at 8, so I literally had, like, 15 minutes to get ready. Luckily, the dinner was, like, right down the street, and got over to the dinner. I was a little bit intimidated because I knew a lot of the girls had already been there all day, so I was, like, in my head, like, "Oh, they probably have all met already, whatever." No, everyone when I got in there, keep in mind there was probably, like, 100 girls. We all do social media, and I only knew maybe, like, 3 or 4 girls because 'cause I'm not in the makeup and beauty scene, but your girl's trying to get into it. So, I am in there. I just go up to one girl. I'm like, "Hey, do you know anyone there?" And she's like, "No." I'm like, "Okay, well, me and you, let's try to meet some other people." So me and her grab a glass of wine because it's like an open bar, and we grab a glass of wine. We chug our glass of wine because I was just so exhausted from my long travel day. I chug my glass of wine, and I look at her, and she also chugs her wine. I'm like, "Okay, we're gonna be friends." And so we ended up sitting down at our assigned table. There was about 6 assigned tables. Everyone had their little names on tables. Luckily, a bunch of the girls at the table I was with, I knew, and then my manager was also at the table. And it was one of those dinners where it was just things would come out to the table and you would grab things, put them on your plate, eat as you would. The food was really good, but yeah, I mean the food was great. We went to Hunt and Fish, definitely an expensive restaurant. I think it was like a steakhouse, not gonna lie, but it was great. Had 3 glasses of wine. Probably shouldn't have had 3 glasses of wine because I woke up on Saturday literally or sorry, Friday, literally wanting to, like, throw up. Wine hangovers are so bad, and 3 glasses of wine, if you know for me, that's a lot. I usually can only do, like, 1.5, 2, and I had a long day on Friday, okay? I knew that morning, I was like, "I am not working out. That's not something that's happening for me. Plus, I'm probably gonna get a lot of steps today from all the events and everything I have to go to." Started off my day at a Kendra Scott event, which Shout out to Kendra Scott and Poppy, both based out of Austin, Texas. And I know a lot of the employees of both brands. So it was nice to go to these events and then also see some of the employees back based in Austin, Texas. I was like, "Hey, what's up?" But we went there and then immediately had to go over to a yoga event. And my dumbass did not pack an extra outfit for the yoga event, but luckily they had like a matching yoga set that I could throw on. But I didn't have sneakers. I was in heels. So I was like, "Does anyone have socks I can throw on?" And luckily the brand had socks. So I threw the socks on and it was a silent disco. So you put the like headphones on and they play music and there's an instructor that has a microphone and you can hear her through the headphones and we're doing like dancing yoga. I felt so out of place and so uncomfortable, but all you can really do in situations like that is just laugh through it. And me and all the girls, we were on the same wavelength. We were like, we've never done something like this. We're all just laughing, making it a fun time, dancing, looking like idiots. But we honestly, it was a really fun time. And Everjewels was actually also hosting this event, and I got the opportunity to make a charm necklace, which I'm obsessed with. So you can basically make your own charm necklace. You get the chain and then all the charms, add them on yourself and you can interchange them, which is pretty cool. So I am obsessed with this. It's definitely not, I mean, I don't own anything from Everjewels, so I don't know if it's going to tarnish easily, but it just doesn't look like the most expensive piece. It is like, I don't know. We'll see if it tarnishes, but I mean, if it does, oh well. I feel like charm bracelets are trending right now, or charm necklaces are trending right now, and it may not stay in style, but we'll see. I do really like the piece that I have. And then after that, me and a few girls went over to this gifting suite that was at a rooftop. Pretty much, you go in there and you just shop till you drop for free. And it's hosted by a PR agency, and the PR agency has all these brands like Windsor, Opali, Boohoo, other accessory brands, food brands. Celsius was there, and you just shop, 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 shop. And we're there. You guys, the first people that we run into in the elevator is Cassie from Love Island and a few other Love Island cast members. Can't remember their names off the top of my head, but they're from last season, not this past season. And I'm like, "Oh my god, this is so cool." Like, seeing these people in person, first of all, it's all stunning. Like, Cassie's skin, I was like, "Holy shit." Her skin is perfect. It's like glass. And she had a hairstylist walking around with her that I guess she brought with him to New York City. I'm like, "Dude, that must be the fucking life." Like, that is so cool. I don't know how to do my hair. When I put my hair up in, like, a ponytail, it takes me, like, 45 minutes to gel it back. So, love that for you. But we were all just shopping. I got a good amount of pieces from Windsor. Didn't realize Windsor has been, like, popping off lately with their clothing. Um, so yeah, we were there for about an hour, and then I was like, "I am low-key, like, rotting right now," and you guys, the Ubers are so expensive, but one thing I was not doing was taking the T. I just needed to get home, so we took, like, a $50 Uber to get down a mile and a half down the street, and I was not walking, by the way. I was wearing heels. My feet were in pain. So I went home, rotted for a little bit, took a shower, and at that point, it was time to go over to another event with Colleen Rothschild. She was hosting an event with our management, and it was in the speakeasy, literally like a block down from our hotel. And funny enough, Colleen Rothschild, they were launching a lip gloss, so that's why they were hosting the event. And she is from Boston, and her husband is from Austin. So it was a very intimate event. Got the chance to talk to them, and I let them know. I was like, "Hey, I'm from Boston and I live in Austin. This is so cool." I've worked with Colleen Rothschild a bunch already, so like, I don't know. I just love meeting like the founders of brands and getting to talk to them. Like, it just makes me love working with brands so much more. And the husband, he was so funny. He was like walking around like, "You guys are all just like my nieces right now. Like, this is great. I love this." Cause like the event, it's like a whole, like, beauty brand, and it's just all women, and he's just the only man in the event. He's like, "You are all just my nieces. You guys are awesome, blah, 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 like, all gorgeous girls, blah, blah, blah." I was like, "You are so funny, and I can literally picture you being my uncle, like, what the fuck?" And then I would say about, like, an hour into the event, we had to leave and go over to the Poppy event. So Poppy was hosting a secret surprise guest, basically a concert. And me and all the girls, we were not aware of like who it was gonna be. It was a secret surprise, but the one hint we did get is that it was gonna be a guy. So in my head, I'm like, it's Usher. There's no way it's not Usher. He has concerts this weekend in New York City. Like it has to be him. And sorry, putting on lip gloss. He it has to be him. Anyways, get into the event. You guys, the security was so high tech. I was like, I feel like I'm like this VIP, like, what is going on? Like, I'm going to this event that there's gonna be all these crazy famous people, like James Charles was there, Patrick Ta, was hoping Alex Earl was gonna be there, but she was not. The Love Island cast was there, like, literally anyone you can think of was there, and I was like, "I am having imposter syndrome, how am I here? This is crazy, none of these people know who the fuck I am," like, wild, but the security again was insane. Um Get in, and immediately there's an open bar, and every drink you get an empty poppy can from their new flavor, cherry cola, and you can pick if you want like a Paloma or margarita, and they pour it right into the cup. And so I'm at this point pretty drunk because all weekend, I just want to point out, every drink was basically free. Like open bar at every single event. So I started drinking at the Colleen Rothschild event and I got a pretty good drunk going because I'm like, I need to be drunk for this. Like, I'm about to see so many like crazy famous people and I want to be able to talk to them, but I need a little bit of a buzz. So me and I think seven of the girls, I ordered us an XL to get over to the Poppy event. And we're all like in the Uber, like, "Oh my god, who's gonna be there? This is crazy. Do we think it's Usher?" So we get inside and we see we're all starstruck. We're like, "Oh my god, this is actually wild." And we ended up finding out that it's 50 Cent that's gonna be performing in about like 30 minutes. And I'm like, "No way. Like, no way." I grew up listening to 50 Cent. Like, this is wild. So the guy goes on, the guy, literally man, and I also another thing that I was, like, thinking this whole time, I'm like, that is literally, like, a dad up there. Like, he is so old now, I think what is he, like, 48, 49? And I'm like, the fact that I listened to your music at, like, the age of 15, every song he played, I knew. Every single song. And I was like, I wanted to cry because 'cause I'm like, "This is not real life. What is going on?" And so in the back area, in the back corner, kinda far away from the stage, which pros and cons to being VIP at events is, like, you're kind of in the back corner. You're not near the stage. So, like, it was nice that I wasn't in the VIP area and we were just kinda, like, out in the general public, because we got really close to 50 Cent. Like, I was literally 10 feet away from him, like, so close. I could see his sweat dripping down his face. This man was sweating. And so, I was standing right at the entrance of the VIP section. Leah and Miguel walk right past me, like, right next to me, and I am just starstruck. Starstruck. Leah, gorgeous. Miguel, like, towering over everyone. I didn't realize how tall he was. Like, I realized he was tall, but, like, this man's was towering over all of us, and keep in mind, all the women in the Bobby event, we're all wearing heels too. So I'm like, this man is so tall. And they come in and I'm like, holy shit. I am just like stunned, stunned. And so they're kind of just like minding their own business in the VIP. And then other people start strolling in. Um, 50 Cent is performing. And then, like, at this point, like, I'm just so amazed by 50 Cent that I am just so into the concert. It's like 30 minutes long. And after his last song, you guys, I'm not even kidding, place cleared out so quickly. I've never seen everyone dip so quickly in my life. Like, there was no room during his performance in the entire event. Like, everyone was shoulder to shoulder. The security guard was literally like, because I was standing right next to the VIP entrance, and the security guard was literally dripping sweat. He took out like a little paper towel to like pat his face. I was like, damn, your job is like tough, man. Like, how are you in that suit? He's like, yeah, like, in like, but I always like my favorite thing is always like talking to security guards and kind of not like fucking with them, but making them laugh because they're not allowed to really like show emotion or like laugh or anything. Um, so I'm like, just cracking jokes with the security guard, and he's, like, dripping sweat. 50 Cent is dripping sweat. Luckily, I'm wearing, like, hardly any clothes, so I'm, like, sweating, but not as much as them, and so event ends, clears out, kinda can breathe now, not as much people in the area. People start going over to the other side of the venue that has, like, the drop back with, the paparazzi there and, like, all the major, like, lights so that you can take photos. You guys, there were so many fucking people, like, I can't even put it into words how many people were there. Like, any of your favorite influencers or celebrities or people from The Bachelor, like, everyone from The Bachelor was there, like Kelsey and, um oh my god, I'm, like, drawing a blank on names, but, like, I was just stunned. Oh, and Maria, I went up to Maria, and I don't even know what the drama is with, her online because I don't watch Jen's season, but I did see her post a TikTok, like, addressing the drama. I didn't watch it fully, I watched maybe, like, the first minute of it, but I just went up to her because I just wanted her to know, like, she's a boss bitch, so I just go, "You're literally stunning and you are perfect," and, like, I was just, like, hyping her up, making her feel good because she just posted that, like, apology video or, like, drama video, like, that same day, so I was just like, "I'm gonna hype her up real quick. Everyone needs that." And so, yeah, I just saw so many people, and I saw people also, like, talking more than they should've and touching more than they should've. I was like, "Are you guys, like, talking? Like, what's the tea here? Like, are you seeing each other?" It was just really cool to see, like, behind the scenes of that type of stuff. But I immediately went home and got some food. It was around like 11 o'clock at this point. I was like, I can't go out. There's no way. Like, I am dying inside. I've been go, go, go. I'm going to go home because I have a long day the next day. So then on Saturday, I was really hungover, but I had breakfast with my manager over in Central Park. It was raining also, which was kind of unfortunate, but we were just kind of strategizing my plans for the next few months, kind of with Q4 and just going over things, talking to her. It just felt really good, reassuring with just my direction with content. And so that was nice. And then um after breakfast, went back. I wanted to go get a coffee and kind of explore the city on my own. So I did that. But then I went later in the day to go to Soho to meet up with another girl for lunch. We got lunch. Little did I know the restaurant I picked was vegan. So there was no chicken or anything like that. Had to get a tofu salad. But I was like, you know what? It was still good. I've eaten tofu in the past. Amazing. And then we went to Soho. You guys, we're walking down the street, and this is just another reason why I could never live in New York City. Walking down the street, all of a sudden, a swarm of people, an ambulance and cops flooding the streets. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I don't feel safe right now. We're walking over to the Zara, and I'm like, wait a second. The Zara is where all of this is going on. And like, we were literally walking to the Zara. That's where I wanted to go. And there's caution tape around the Zara. I think maybe 15 cops. And everyone has like their cameras out, which I think is so weird to me. Like when people pull out their cameras when there's like a possible murder scene going on. Um, and so I'm just being nosy. I'm just standing there. I'm asking people around me because like they clearly people were standing there that had been standing there for a while. I'm like, what's going on? And everyone's like, we don't know. There's girls crying right next to the Zara. Like people are getting interviewed by the cops. Later, it turns out because we just kept walking after that and kept shopping and then worked our way back towards Zara. Turns out there was a man that went into Zara, tried shoplifting, and the security guard caught him and was like, "Hey, dude, I see what you're doing. Stop." The shoplifter literally took out a knife and started stabbing the security guard. And so when I was there, because I didn't know what happened, when I was there was a man on a stretcher being taken out on a stretcher to the ambulance, but he had a white, like, tarp over him. But the man was moving. Like, the man was sitting upright, and he was strapped in too. Like, the man was strapped in, so his arms couldn't move. And so I'm like, "Okay, so, like, he's okay. Like, he's functioning, he's moving." But so, to my knowledge, they put the white tarp over him because his face got so messed up that they didn't want everyone and their mother with their cameras out to, like, document that. Which, thank God they did that because for me personally, like, I just can't do gory stuff like that, and if I saw that, I probably would've passed out, but I just think the cops did a great job, like, respecting that guy with everything that was going like, I think there was hundreds of cameras out. I'm honestly surprised that I went on TikTok, like, yesterday to see if there was anything that people have posted, and there really wasn't much, but I'm just like, "Wow, this world is so scary." Like, things can happen in a blink of an eye, and, like, things can just change. We even walked past the Zara, and I'm sorry if this is too much, like, vulgar stuff for you guys, but, like, walked past the Zara and looked inside, and there was just, like, blood everywhere, and I'm like, "Ugh." I was like, "I just need to get away from here." So we went to the complete opposite end of, the street, and I was like, "You know what? The last place I wanna go is Coach." I love Coach. I have, like, 6 bags from Coach. It's my favorite. I'm just starting to realize as I get older, I'm not into, like, the higher end bags. I just think they're a waste of money. So, I'm gonna do Michael Kors, Coach, my favorites. They look great. I'm obsessed with them. Went in there, wasn't really anything I loved, and then just kind of went home because I had a fashion show later that night. Which that fashion show, you guys, I went to the fashion show, stood in line. Event said it was gonna start at 7. I got there around 6:45 because you know me, I'm always on time to things. I was standing in line in heels, keep in mind, for an hour. They were not budging, they were not moving, and I was talking to people in the line, for the event, and people were like, "This is not normal for Fashion Week, like, we don't know what's going on," and they're not explaining anything to us. People just started leaving the line and, like, going somewhere else because, like, Fashion Week is so busy, like, things need to be on time because there's other events that people need to attend to, and so, at this point, like, I'm tired, I hadn't drank all day, like, alcohol, like, I wasn't in the mood to drink at night, like, the girls I was standing in line with had, like, other events that they wanted to go to, and I was like, "You know what? If you guys leave, I'm leaving." So they left, and I was just like, "You know what? Fuck it, I'm going home." As I'm walking home, my heel breaks. My fucking heel breaks. I was gonna take the T home because all that day I was doing the T, and I'm like, sorry, not T. Boston people call it the T. I don't know what people in New York call it. The subway, train, I don't know. But did that, and I'm walking. My heel gets stuck between the crack of, like, 2 cobblestones and just snaps off. So, here I am, literally walking in one broken heel back. I took the subway. I still took the subway. I'm like, "Fuck this. I'm alone. I'm not spending $50 on an Uber. I'll spend the $3 on the subway." And I am staying in Times Square. So, I am getting off the subway, going up the stairs. As I'm walking out up to the street, I pass a bunch of girls that I know. Noelle, Claire Stone, Kayla, like, bunch of girls from my Moxie management, my other management that I'm with, and I'm like, "What a fucking small world," and this wasn't even the first time that I had bumped into them in New York City, the biggest fucking city in the United States. I'm like, "How ironic is this?" Like, "This is great," and I look at them because they look at me, we point at each other, we're like, "Holy fucking shit, the second time in 24 hours that I'm bumping into you guys, like, this is crazy," and we even texted our managers. I was like, "You're not gonna believe I bumped into these girls twice in 24 hours. Like, what are the odds?" Especially me coming like right out of the subway with a broken heel. Dress is like I'm trying to hold my dress down because it's short, it's skimpy. I'm trying to look like a fucking like you know I don't even know I was just not trying to look bad. So I was like, "Oh my god, what are the odds?" So I look at them and I go, "You guys, look at my heel." I'm like holding the bottom of the heel in my hand. I'm like, "Yeah, it broke off." And I just took the subway for like 25 minutes to get over here, and now I still need to walk another like 3 blocks down to my hotel. They're like cracking up at me, and I'm like, "You know what? Love you guys, but I'm gonna I'm gonna go. I cannot stand any longer in Times Square because everyone I feel like is looking at me, even though no one was looking at me." And I was like, "I just need to get home, and I need a big fat bottle of water." So yeah, I went home. That was my last night, Saturday night. I was gonna go out, but my flight was at like 8 a.m. and I had to wake up at 5 a.m. to go to the airport. And I was like, I've drank enough this week. I just don't want to keep drinking. And the nightlife here is runs really late. So I went home. And that was that. I had so much fun in New York, you guys. Like, I can't even express to you like how much fun I had and I want to go back. But like, the thing I've discovered over traveling to places is, like, you learn and you move on and you do things differently every time you travel somewhere. So, next time I travel, I'm going to stay not in Midtown. Midtown was horrible. I'm gonna stay in Soho, West Village, or Meatpacker in is it called the Meatpacker? I don't even know. Um, so I'm gonna change location on where I stay, and I'm also gonna take the train everywhere I go and bring more sneakers. I thought I could get away with walking around in kitten heels. Nope, could not happen. Um, I'm usually fine walking in kitten heels here in Austin, but I can't do it in New York because it's like an extra like 3 miles that it needs to be. And so, yeah, we're just gonna do things differently. I loved New York. I could never live there. I literally could never live there. All you can hear is police sirens and just like screaming and like arguing and just, like, it smells like urine. I can't do it, but it's so fun to just go there and have the time of your life and have no care in the world because it's such a fast-paced city that you're always gonna be doing something, like, from the second you wake up to nighttime, like, you are moving, 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 and it's long days, but it kinda moves quickly. So, yeah, I'm definitely excited to book another trip to go back out there, maybe next year, like, going into the next year, because we have the holidays coming around, and I have this next trip that I'm going on with my boyfriend for about 10 days. So, like, I just don't have time for another trip, but I definitely would love to get back out there. It was a lot of fun. Okay, guys, let's get into talking about birth control. Like I said at the beginning of this episode, I'm talking on my experience with birth control and just everything that I have personally learned going through the motions over the last, I think, 2 years. My story starts back in August of 2020, or sorry, August 2022 is when I came off birth control. I just went off cold turkey. About a month before I went off this birth control that I was on, it was hormonal, by the way, and it was the pill. I had my old podcast that I did with Taylor. We had hormonal nutritionists come on the podcast and educate us about, that scope. And it really moved us and it really pushed us to want to get off because it has been in the back of our head for a while now. Um, I've just heard really good things about getting off birth control. It clears your mind. You have more control over your body. I never struggled with acne, but that is also a benefit with getting off birth control and just overall having a better grip on your emotions. And obviously your hormones. So I went cold turkey August 2022 and just went right off of it. Okay. I am going to be so honest with you guys. I did not hook up with anyone that first like 6 months of getting off birth control. I was so scared. I did not want to, you know, jump into something like that. And I've honestly never really been someone to be like in the hookup culture. Like, honestly, ever. If I was sleeping with someone, it was because I knew them, I was seeing them, not really into the one night stand type thing. I've done it, maybe once or twice, to say I've done it, but not really my scene. So I was totally okay with, taking a step back from men, not doing it for a few months. And so I did that. And those first few months of coming off birth control, I had the worst symptoms of withdrawal, I guess you could call it. I basically every 30 days, every time where I was supposed to be getting my period, was getting the worst, like flu like symptoms. It was so bad. I was nauseous. One month I actually was throwing up all night. I had the chills, like, and I don't want to scare you guys with this. Everyone's experience is different, but like this is just how my body reacted for like the first, I want to say, 4 months. Those symptoms started to go down a little bit, and I was still not getting a period though. I did not get a period for about 9 months. And so August, I went off right around January, going into the new year. I made it a, New Year's resolution to really prioritize my hormone health. I didn't really know much of what I was doing. I was trying to educate myself. We had those nutritional hormone nutritionists come on our podcast. I was listening to podcasts, reading things on the internet, and just really trying to educate myself on what I wanted to do. And what I discovered that was most important was your gut health. Happy gut means happy hormones. So I wanted to go that route. I just knew with my passive eating, I would track macros, but I wasn't really the best on, getting my veggies in and really eating things that were good for me. I ate a lot of processed things. So January of 2023 is really when I started to prioritize my gut health. I was drinking bone broth every single morning. And really prioritizing getting a fruit or veggie in with every single meal I was eating. I also started supplementing Vitex Berry, which I heard great things about. Vitex Berry is supposed to help with your PMS symptoms, and I really needed something that was going to help me with that because, as you guys know, with what I just said, I had horrible flu-like symptoms every single time I was supposed to get my period. Like I said, I wasn't getting my period, so I took Vitex Berry, which is also not only great for your PMS, but it's also great for helping balancing out your hormones. I was also seed cycling, which seed cycling is basically a various amount of seeds that you take based on the cycle of your period. Now, because I wasn't getting my period, I was using the Flow app to track my period and kind of predict when I was getting my period based on my symptoms of, my flu like symptoms. So I was doing that, tracking my period or tracking my cycle that way and seed cycling. All I did with the seeds was put them on my oatmeal every single morning, and I still do that to this day. And then also another thing that I was doing was working out less. For your hormones, us women, we need to really, really monitor how much we are working out. Um, the way we work out, the stress we put on our body does play a huge role in our hormones and, your cycle. So for me personally, it was kind of good timing because I started really prioritizing this in January. And then in February is when I got my boob job. So I couldn't even really work out for about 2 months, and then after that 2 months was up, I started to incorporate, low intensity workouts again. So it was just good timing with that, with kinda just taking down my activity level. So from February to April, I hardly worked out. Then, right around February as well is when I kinda introduced myself to Sneaky Link, throwback. And so I just knew going into this, coming off birth control, I didn't wanna be sleeping around with guys, and my biggest thing was just finding someone that I could have a fun time with, hook up with, and not really worry too much about it, and so that was Sneaky Link at the time. Here we are, that's a whole 'nother story. He's my boyfriend now, love him. Caught feelings for him, now we're dating, but I just did not want to be messing around with that part of getting off birth control. So, February wasn't when I started kind of, indulging in the that type of stuff again. Um, was I a little bit nervous about it? Yes. But I will be honest with you guys, kind of looking back on it, because I wasn't even getting my period, I wasn't really at risk of like high chances of getting pregnant. So yeah. Be careful with those words that I'm using also, by the way, guys, because I don't want you to be acting like me and then something happens. So, um, I'm your big sister or mom over here telling you to be careful, okay? And then April 2023 is when I got my first period. So, after I came off birth control back in August, 9 months later is when I got my period. And January is when I started really taking things serious, doing all those supplements, all the different routines in my life. And 3 months later, out of nowhere, I get my period. So I will say everything that I did to help balance out my hormones, I believe worked. And I'm still utilizing all of those tools every single day. So the bone broth, the working on my gut health, eating right, fruits, veggies, all that, the Vitex berry that I'm supplementing, the seed cycling, and working out less. So I'm convinced all those things that I was doing helped me get my period 3 months later. My period was by no means perfect, but I was just happy that I was getting it. It was very light, it was irregular, it was spotty, but hey, I was getting my period. So that is just a win in itself. And I knew from here we were moving in the right direction. And so I went on a vacation with my friends to Cabo. And then when I got back, I took some blood work, and not blood work that you would think that I would be getting blood work for. Okay. I went on a trip and I came home. I had discovered somebody that I had shared a toilet with had something. And so I was in my head and I was like, oh my God, do I have this as well? Because I looked down at my lady parts and I had this big, like, welt on my vagina. And I was like, oh my fucking God. I was like, I have something. I have something. I don't know what. I'm looking all over the internet. I'm like, do I have like maybe herpes or something? Like, I don't know. I'm not educated in this field. So I immediately rushed, literally 2 days after that vacation, over to the or into the lady center and got blood work done. Turns out it was just ingrown hair. An ingrown hair that caused me to have a very big, like, pimple-like, painful welt in my bikini line. So, that was great, but with that, I spent, like, $300 on getting blood work done, and I had asked them to take my blood and, test my hormones with that, and they were like, "If you're gonna do that, your insurance isn't covered down here, it's gonna cost you, like, $800." And I was like, sorry, we're not doing that." But I did get blood work done, so I got my pregnancy test done, I got, like, every single, like, what's the word? Like, disease, not disease, what the fuck is the word for? You know what I'm talking about. But I got everything. Everything came back negative. So that was great. Huge relief for me. And then I realized I was like, I do want to get my blood work done with my hormones, but like, I don't know. I'm going to go the more natural route first. I'm not spending $500 to get my blood work not only done, but checked by a professional to see and like walk me through what's, going on in my body. So I just continue to trust the process and work through healing my body naturally. Um, I just knew everyone on the internet had been talking about like the follicular phase, the luteal phase, your ovulation and how you should be feeling. And I was like, I'm not feeling that yet. I'm not there yet, but I want to get to a place where I am. So, I started to get my period every 40 to 50 days. So, I was bleeding, I was getting my period, but it wasn't consistent. It wasn't a healthy cycle. A healthy cycle is anywhere from 28 to 35 days. And so my goal was to really get that down closer. I was like, we are working on this. We are going to get my period to be more regular. It's going to take time. It's not going to happen overnight, but it's going to happen. So, back in October of 2023, now keep in mind, January 2023 is when I really started to take my hormone health serious. October 2023 is when I got my first regular cycle. It was, I think, around 32 days, maybe a little bit more. But you guys, I was just so excited that it happened. I was like, there's no way. Like, we are doing what needs to work and it's happening. And from this point on, I just could feel my body in every cycle. So when you're ovulating, you have a little bit more discharge, you're a little bit more horny, all the things. Like, I was feeling it. Going into my follicular phase, feeling that, my luteal phase, you know, the all the things you can imagine in your luteal phase, okay? Like feeling bitchy, hating everyone, emotional, seeing a video on TikTok, wanting to cry, like literally everything. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with me? But at the same time, I'm like, oh my God, this just feels so good to be so in tune with my body. And from that time on, from October 2023 to now, I can feel my body in its cycle every single day. And I feel amazing. I feel like weight has been lifted off my shoulder. I'm a completely different person. Now, obviously, so many things have played a factor with, coming off birth control and to where I am now. It's been like 2 years. So a lot of things have happened. I've gotten a boob job. My frontal lobe developed because I'm 26. I got a boyfriend. So, like, a lot of things have happened and played a role. But I do have to say, I think getting off birth control is one of the key things that has helped me gain more, like, confidence, more clarity. I can think straight more. Like, I'm not being delusional, I swear, right now. Like, birth control just didn't allow me to be in tune with my body as a woman. Like, it's so important. Like, when people would be like, "Oh, I have tender boobs from getting my period," I was like, "What are you talking about? Like, that doesn't happen to me." You guys, like, my boobs, I have big boobs as is because I got a fake boob job, but they double in size, sorry, right before my period. Like, it's wild, and, like, the ache of my boobs, like, the tenderness of them and the sensitivity in my nipples, I'm like, "Wow, it's fucking cool to be a woman." Like, it really is. Like, the power our body has is actually wild. So, there there has taken some time, what is it? 2 years, a little over 2 years of me regulating my hormones, but we are now in a place where my period is consistent, 28 to 35 days, or in that range, and I could not be happier that I took that leap of faith and I cold turkey getting off birth control. Now you're probably wondering, Sam, what the hell do you do to stay safe in the bed? Um, Numerous things. The pull-out game. Trust your boyfriend. Trust that he is capable of that. Um, don't really have drunk sex. I mean, if I'm a little drunk, but like if we're like to the point of obliterate and like I'm not gonna remember it the next morning, it's not happening. Like it just can't. It's not safe. I don't want it to happen. I don't want to wake up the next morning with some regrets. Um, no one is not no one. Oh my god, my boyfriend is not finishing inside me. It's not happening. And I do track my period on my Flow app. Flow is great. It will tell you when you're ovulating. It will tell you when you are at risk of pregnancy, when you're at your most fertile. I definitely recommend downloading the app. Um, I believe I am paying for the subscription. I think it's a subscription based app. Um, I don't really know, but there's a lot of like educational things on the app too that you can use, and it will tell you more about your discharge, the flow or the consistency of your period, and like what your blood looks like from your period, and like what you should know in regards to that. Um, And I can look out, like, months and ahead when my, like, period will be in, like, January, which is great, for the girlies that are planning big things in the future and you have a consistent cycle, like, "Oh my god, like, I wanna get married in January, but, like, when is my period?" So, like, cool things like that you can just track. And so using the Flow app and then also around ovulation, we're not doing it. We're not risking it. It's not happening. Sorry. Love him, but I stay away from him. I'll stay home if I need to. No kidding. I have self control. But yeah, that's another thing. And then I was doing condoms for a little bit, but I'm going to be so honest with you guys. Like, they're just not it. Like, when me and him were first, like, seeing each other. We were just because, we weren't dating. So I didn't want anything to happen with somebody that I'm not dating. So yeah, condoms are important. And then you could use an Aura ring and really, really track that way with, your temperature in the morning and tracking your cycle that way. But I don't have an Aura ring. Maybe I'll get one day. We'll see. But I just don't have one. And then, God forbid something does happen. There are, like the Plan B or Julie, I think it's called Julie that you can use. I've only ever had to use it once, with a little scare that I had, but other than that, I don't really, um, suggest using that. I mean, s I've only taken it once, and the one time I took it, it had bad side effects on me. I did not feel great. Oh, great, my camera just died, damn it. So if you're watching on YouTube, I'm sorry, just cut out short, but, um, yeah, so I really just would take everything I'm saying and don't listen to me. I'm not the best. I'm risking it out here. But I do think my younger audience, you girls, if you're in college still, if you are in the hookup culture scene, like really think about it. Um just be really careful. You never know. I would like literally wake up with anxiety like in the morning if I like did something and I was like, "Oh my god, like God forbid something happened." So like, I don't know. Everyone's different. Everyone teach their own. But for me personally, like I would just wait until you're in a place where you're more low key, not in college, party scenes died down a little bit. You have a little bit more responsibilities. But I do think it is really, really good getting off of it. Um, and if you want to go on a non-hormonal birth control, so be it. IUDs, the implant, you can do it that way. But the hormonal birth control, that was not my thing. And I also sucked at taking that pill. I did not take it all the time. Like I would forget to take it and yeah. So if you guys have any more questions, I could definitely do a part 2 in regards to birth control, but I really just wanted to share my story with it because I get so many questions about like, did you cold turkey it? When did you come off? What do you use for protection? Blah blah blah. So like I just wanted to quickly talk about it with you guys. So if you have any questions, we can do a Q&A next week maybe. Or no, I wanted to have my boyfriend on again because we're going to be on vacation together. But yeah, just let me know and we can do a Q&A. But that's just my journey with birth control and I don't want to be an influence for anyone. Like educate yourself first. Look into the pros and cons for yourself. Everyone's different with your life situation, your financial situation, like um, if you have a boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever it is, like just be careful, okay? So, love y'all and I will see you in the next episode and keep a lookout on the podcast Instagram for a Q&A. We'll do a Q&A in regards to this topic very, very soon.